Keith. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you. I guess it is. Where are you? Are you in Los Angeles or in?
So, my home base is Los Angeles, but currently I'm on travel, so I'm in Chicago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I was saying otherwise the time change is a bit brutal for you. Yeah.
Yeah. But of course, I am Latasha with Awards Buzz. Keith, definitely looking forward to chatting with you about Ocean.
Great.
I just want to get straight into it. Like, ultimately, what was it that sparked the vision for this documentary?
The spark really was there's this huge UN meeting happening about in June in France, which is deciding whether countries are going to sign up to protecting 30% of the ocean. And the benefits to humanity if we do it are really huge. And it's a big, important meeting, but no one seems to know about it. So we thought we ought to together make a film that really brings attention to the fact of why we need ocean protection and why it's such a good thing for all of us. And so that's why we made the film.
Interested to hear like your passion. Like at what point like did this become a passion area for you? Like water, the wildlife, the climate, telling stories like this just in general.
Well, I've been a wildlife filmmaker really since my early 20s. So that has been my business, and I've done a lot of films about the ocean through that time. I've seen a lot of change. Most of it not good change. Some of it very good change. So I've seen that actually when you protect the ocean and you know, you get huge rewards from doing it. When you don't, it's a sad old story. So I think this film has just, for me, is a culmination of my career in terms of thinking, okay, how can we put it all together into one film? And also with my partner David Attenborough, we worked together for more than 40 years. Um, can we use David, the power of him and his story to be able to bring it to the public? So this is a culmination of a lot of my experiences for
And I
me.
think specifically working with David, I want to like kind of get into his archives because like what did that overall visual and process look like choosing which archives to really dig deep into for this particular project?
Well, we only used a small amount
Okay.
actually because all we wanted to do was to set up the fact that he's been on this earth. He's in his 100th year, so he's lived on this earth for a century, which is good. And during his lifetime, there's been huge change. So we only showed a small amount of that in terms of archive, because the main thing we wanted to do with the film itself was to sort of blow people away with um, images shot by us to show the magnificence of the ocean in all its guises.
Mhm. And I kind of want to segue here for a little bit. I feel like obviously, as a journalist, there's a lot of prep that goes into, figuring out what questions to ask the talent, for lack of better words. But you keep mentioning change. And that's really intriguing me quite a bit, especially being that obviously I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable and experienced when it comes to the ocean and the water life, as you, of course. But what are some of the changes that you have seen, in that particular spectrum of life
Yeah.
over the years?
An amazing positive change I've seen in my lifetime is the story of the great whales. Where when I was a zoology student and in the late 70s, and at that time, we were a few nations were hell bent on hunting down the last whale to drive them into extinction. And fortunately, kind of common sense through actually because of public um, awareness and campaigning, it was decided by the International Whaling Commission in '86 to ban it. And whales were really rare in the '80s. I remember having to do a documentary about the ban and trying to find footage of them was really hard. I would never have believed at that point that in my lifetime I would see the things I would see since. I've seen aggregations of whales whether off Hawaii and in the Azores and what have you. So I couldn't dream of experiencing. So that's been the real positive side. You know, the world took action in the '80s and the benefits have been huge. The other side of the coin is, I've dived, many pristine coral reefs in the '80s and '90s, which are now shadows of their former selves, and so there's been huge. I've witnessed decline in many other ways, and so yeah, I I'm with the two sides. But the key is if we protect, it gets better. If we don't protect, it gets worse. And so it's a very, very simple equation.
Yeah. And if we may kind of dive into the aesthetics, right? The visual element of this documentary, Keith, like honestly, so many of the shots are surreal. They seem very, because they are so impeccable and perfect to be somewhat animated, everything is just shot live. Like how how did you guys like capture? And I mean,
But
obviously you captured it because it's happening, it's real life, but it's so unreal.
but the genius of most of the underwater stuff is shot by this guy, Doug Anderson, who is an underwater cinema graphic genius. Not only is he a superb diver, a superb naturalist to be able to work out what to he is the master of composition and light and the things he do, which makes his images look very different from, loads of people have seen coral reefs before, but you probably haven't seen it quite like in this film. And that can only go down to judge this amazing guy. So we were just hugely useful, and Toby Strong did a lot of the surface stuff as well. We always wanted it to be a theatric experience. And so the images were massively important, whether they are wonderful things or shocking things. We wanted the images to be very, very powerful and strong. So I'm very glad that you felt that they are. So
I just want to applaud you. Job well done on this piece. I am ecstatic for the world and the viewers to see it, Keith. Thank you so much for your time today. I feel like I have a trillion more questions, but I know you have to get on with your day. It was such a pleasure speaking with you today.
very nice to meet you as well.
You
Thank
as well. Bye, Keith.
Bye.